Alright then, so hey, what's up guys, this is Pohdoh here, and this is gonna be my first impression on Modern Combat 5 based on what I saw in the stream only. The game obviously hasn't come out yet, so if I'm completely wrong with my assumptions, that's just because this is just a first impression. So that being said, these are all just the opinions of someone who's been playing Modern Combat 1, who's been playing Modern Combat since like Modern Combat 1, and been playing every single one ever since. So if it don't sound as enthusiastic as other people do, that's just as a result because I've been through so many releases of Gameloft games, but you know, still looks really exciting. I'm just giving my very first impression on it. It won't be too long, it'll be pretty brief, and keep in mind these are all first impressions, so if they're wrong, then my bad. You know, I can't really tell the game without actually playing it myself. I could just tell you what I can see based on the stream alone. So what are my first impressions on it? First things, I really like the new look of it, the new flat look of it, that looks like iOS 7, instead of like the much more realistic look, quote unquote realistic, you know, of Modern Combat 4, where you have like, you know, all the buttons that are shaded and, you know, stuff like that. And I don't know, it's hard to explain. I just really like the flat look of it a lot better. It's a lot simpler, it's a lot easier on the eye, and it just looks more it just looks different from Modern Combat 4 overall, which I think was kind of a problem because Modern Combat 3 and Modern Combat 4, they look very similar. Besides the ragdoll effects and a few other animations, you know, the entire style of them were really similar. And you know, it kind of, you know, I had no difficulty transitioning from Modern Combat 4 to Modern Combat 3 because for the most part the graphics were so similar, I didn't really see that much of a difference. So those are the appearances, what I thought, you know, first about the appearance, about, you know, how the game actually looked, and how the game actually played. It's slower. I can say that pretty confidently, but it's hard to tell since I actually need to see how big the maps are, how fast people are moving, and how many, and it was only 3v3 or 4v4, I believe, not a full lobby, so it could be different if there are more people. But that was just my first impression. It was slow. That may not be a bad thing. You know, there's a lot of really fun slow games like Battlefield 3. There are plenty of games which are really slow, but you can be strategic and still have fun with the game. But what I know of the Modern Combat community, that they're probably not looking for a slow game. They may like it over time, but I think it'll take some getting used to. Because one of the biggest complaints about Modern Combat 4 was that it's too slow, and Modern Combat 5 looks equally as slow, if not slower. Let's see, the movement speed was pretty subpar. I don't mean like subpar as in like bad, I just mean like it's slower. And then usually the movement speed is very synonymous with how fast the game is, and also the map size. The map sizes, they weren't absolutely massive like they are in Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I believe, or Ghost or whatever. They aren't absolutely massive, which I really like, because the problem with really big maps, especially in Modern Combat 4, was that you can't find anyone. They had this problem in Modern Combat 2 when they made the maps really big in the expansion pack. But then this time it seemed like they have found a pretty good, you know, pretty good length and pretty good size for the maps. And I really like how the maps are looking. They actually look very unique. No Modern Combat game really had the issue of maps being ununique or, you know, all bland. But you know, it's good to see that they are continuing this really good trend. And only 4 maps. Only 4 maps. I don't know what to think about this. You know, there have been Modern Combat games in the past which were good only with 2 maps. You know, basically, well, like more or less like every single Modern Combat game except for Modern Combat 1. But the thing is, it was like 1 or 2 maps out of like 5 or 6. And a lot of times, 1 or 2 of those maps were really bad, and that no one really wanted to play in, where they were just really laggy, or they had some kind of issue with them. So I'm assuming that they really polish out these 4 maps. 4 maps is plenty for an iOS game. Keep that in mind. It's plenty for an iOS game, but my main concern is what happens if these maps aren't up to par or they have problems behind them. Then we'll be really stuck. We'll be, you know, really struggling for choices because there's only 4 maps originally. But you know, it could work out, and like I said, a lot of this is speculation. You know, a lot of this stuff could work out even if I say it doesn't. But you know, this is just what I think. You know, I've been through a lot of Modern Combat releases so far, and then let's see what else. The recoil looks pretty standard. Doesn't look like hip firing is going to be very good at all. I think they finally nerfed it enough to the point where, you know, using your iron sights is a little better, assuming there isn't some crazy overpowered SMG. And let's see what else. I think that's pretty much all I have to say about the Modern Combat, you know, 5 stream. You know, I need to actually, I read all the talents and stuff. They're pretty basic. You know, I think I already talked about it, you know, before in one of my older videos. The talent I think is a great idea, and I really like it. But then, you know, it's gonna take a little more time for them to balance it out. I feel like they're gonna have to spend a lot more time trying to balance it out, because the problem is, especially in the past with Modern Combat, was that there's always one really good spec, and then it caused all the other specs to be obsolete. Like, you know, it doesn't matter if, you know, the developer team comes up with 20 good specs, you know, 20 good talents. If the one of them is the best, then that means all other 19 of them are just useless, and no one's gonna use them anyways. You know, they could be good, you know, they can have a cool playstyle behind it, but they're inferior. The player base will not pick them. So I'm really hoping that they find some way to balance it out the best way they can. You know, it's a little unrealistic to, you know, to assume they can perfectly balance it, but I still want to have options. I think that's, you know, gonna be the trend with Modern Combat 5 is options. Modern Combat, you know, 4, you know, it didn't have very many options. You didn't have that many options with the guns. You know, you didn't have that many options with your playstyle. You know, you really didn't have that many options with your talents, because, you know, because certain talents were way better than every other talent. And you know, it was a good game, but then I felt very limited. I didn't feel like this in Modern Combat 2 and Modern Combat 3, because, you know, skill, and it was because because skill really took place, you know, in those games. So, you know, you can make the games different every single time, have a different approach, just because there was so much movement, and you can use, you know, radically different weapons. But I think they're still building on the mistakes of Modern Combat 4. You know, I make it sound like Modern Combat 4 is a really bad game, but it really isn't. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to see how this exactly works out. You know, a lot of people have been PMing me to, you know, watch the stream, you know, what I think about the release date. And, you know, the release date, you know, I'm not sure, guys, because on the 30th, or, you know, about the time where Modern Combat 5 is going to be released, I'm going to be off to college. So I don't know how much I'm exactly going to be able to play, but, you know, maybe I'll have like a 1-month break while I get settled in. But regardless, you know, I still want to try it out. I want to see how well, you know, this, I mean, of all the games before, I really feel like the developers are putting the most amount of effort into this game. But I really feel like Modern Combat 5 is going to push this game to the next limit, if they do it correctly. So anyways, this is Pohdoh, rate, comment, subscribe. Tell me, guys, what you think about the stream, what you guys think about the Modern Combat 5 gameplay. I would post it here, but then the problem is there's copyrights, and, you know, I did post it last time, but, you know, I want to avoid it this time, just because, you know, I don't want to get into any heat with any of the game law for Touch Arcade. So anyways, this is Pohdoh, rate, comment, subscribe. Tell me, guys, what you think, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.